Welcome to Destination Wedding Planning Made Easy, where your team at Destination Weddings Expert talks about all things weddings. Join us as we talk about tips, tricks, and those all too easy pitfalls to avoid when planning your big day. All right. Hello and welcome back to Destination Wedding Planning Made Easy. We are on episode 3, and this week we are going to be talking about excursions and just kind of everything that's involved with excursions, ways to add them onto your group, ways to enjoy your time while in destination, ways to see more authentic experiences within the countries that you're visiting. You are joined today by the team at Destination Weddings Expert. We've got Nikki Sanders, Prissy Powell, and Jody Com. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hello. All right, let's kick it off. I think excursions are one of the more fun things that we get to do that just get to be like a nice little add-on for the groups, a nice little something for, to experience while you're overseas. So let's talk first of all about kind of reasons we use vendors for excursions. Obviously, you can go on Google any excursion experience, find some random that's, going to take you, or even worse, go down to the beach and find someone that's going to take you on an excursion. But there are reasons that we don't do that. And we don't offer that, or encourage people to do that through us. First of all, it's with any excursions that we do, we like to set up with vendors that we know are going to kind of keep you safe, vendors that are going to make sure that you have a good time on your excursion. What I always like to talk about with our couples when we're in our consultation is we don't want your guests going down to the beach, finding some random, taking them four-wheeling, and we don't know where they're going. We don't know when they're going to get back. We don't know, what the experience is like. And I speak of this from personal experience.
Mhm.
So I went to one of our couples' weddings in Costa Rica. It was an amazing time. We had so much fun. But while we were there, we did the thing that I tell everyone not to do. Found a random on the beach. They took us four-wheeling. The very first thing that happened is as we were pulling out, I found out as we were pulling into the road that my four-wheeler didn't have any brakes. Found that out the hard way. That was a lot of fun. And then we did have,
Terrifying.
yeah, it's you know what, the vendor got theirs back on that one though, because I found out when I was behind one of their new four-wheelers and drove right into it and broke the brake
Ah,
lights on the new one. Not my fault. So, but it was a fun excursion. We went and had a good time, but it's also like we stopped at a random bar. I didn't know where we were. That's no one would have known where any of us were at that time. So it's always encouraged to go through a reputable vendor that, is going to make sure that you enjoy yourself while you're out there. Also, we know these vendors are insured. We know these vendors are bonded. We know these vendors, are going to be able to, take care of things if for whatever reason something goes wrong. Things go wrong. Not even necessarily the vendor's fault. It just sometimes it happens, right? So I think one of the most important things that we like to talk about when we're talking vendors is just making sure that we're booking with a reputable one. And we have ways that we help you do that. So as we dive into it here, that's Prissy, can you give us just kind of a breakdown of like maybe some of the more popular excursions that are out there?
um, most of our wedding groups love a catamaran. So
Mhm.
they'll do a sunset catamaran. Some may take it up a notch and turn it into a full-fledged party boat.
Mhm.
So we do a lot of boats. And who doesn't love a private boat experience with your favorite 50, 60 people?
Mhm.
We also do the four-wheelers, the dune buggies. We do jet skis. We do yachts. We do photo shoots on the clear kayaks.
Mhm.
So we have helped our couples do it all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, it's the nice thing about booking some of these is it is a way to see different, when you're on the resort, yes, it's beautiful and you get a little bit of touch of the culture, you get a little bit of
Mhm.
touch of, some of the things that are out there. But it's you don't necessarily get to really experience the locals, right?
Mhm.
It's Jody, tell us a little bit about like tastings. It's what are
Mhm.
some of the tastings that are out there and how, what do some of the excursions include when you do those?
Um, One of my favorites is tequila
Uh-huh.
tasting. And then after that, I don't even remember. But no,
Yeah.
there's I I wouldn't start with the tequila. I would the rum, wine, of course, coffee. Anywhere I go in the world, I like to experience their coffee. So
Mhm.
this is a great way to do that, a variety.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a cigar smoker, but trying different cigars, that's a great maybe like for the groom and his groomsmen, or I mean, some of the
Little,
couples like to try just different things when they're local.
yeah, a little bachelor party experience, something
Yeah.
that you got to get out and explore with the guys, or same thing with the girls, go out and have a great time. That's I think those are some of the fun ones that you get to do and really dive into the local experience. There's also a lot of food tours. That's
Oh,
there's I was just in the Yucatan, and I got to do like chocolate making, literally like from the cocoa bean, crushing the cocoa bean and then adding our sweetener and adding our different flavors and whatnot.
mhm.
It doesn't get any more authentic than that, right? So there's really so much that you can do and find out
Mhm.
there that whatever interests your group, whatever you think your group is really going to get into, there's a ton to find there. Um, Nikki, I know we talk about, that's obviously if guests stay at Xcaret, the hotel, like Xcaret Mexico, Xcaret Arte, that they can go to the parks that's included in their stay. But tell us a little bit about the Xcaret kind of parks and what all that looks like.
They have a great selection of parks. They have a water park. They have one where it's like the mystery spot where you're not sure if you're leaning. You look like you're leaning, but you're really not. We don't
Expensive.
know.
I got so motion sick
Expensive.
on that.
They have the nighttime with the
Yep.
mariachis, and
Mhm.
um, they have a lot of parks. They have a lot to choose from for all ages. You can go to the zip lining, water park, all of that.
Yep.
You don't have to stay there. If you're staying at another resort, because maybe you're like, I like parks, but only for one day,
Yep.
right? So you can book an excursion. Transportation will pick you up at your hotel, take
Mhm.
you over to the park, drop you off, pick you back up, and return you to your hotel.
Yep.
Um, that way you don't have to get a random cab. It can be arranged for you if it's just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 people, whatever you need. It can be arranged that way and it make it seamless
Yeah.
to go from one door into the craziness and then right back with your friend and
I
family.
I think Census was one of my favorite ones that I did. It
Mhm.
is so much fun at that park. The Leaning City, it did actually like make me motion sick.
Dizzy.
Census.
Yeah.
Census is that one,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Census, yep.
I
Yeah.
had a hard time with that, but the rest of it was fun. We did the zip lining, we did there's just little photo ops everywhere that you can do
Yes.
that's so much fun. So those excursions, if your group is more adventurous, more like getting out and into the wild a little bit, those parks are a fun, safe way to do a lot of those things instead of like random zip lining in the middle of nowhere. You don't know
Yeah.
what you're
Right,
And they
right. Because it is
oh,
such a big group,
at.
a group of entertainment and hotel facilities, their stuff has liability insurance.
Exactly. That's
Their name is on the line.
Mhm.
I like that because I'm like Mario. I've had a bad experience water skiing at Acapulco. We
Yep.
don't have any life vests. Oh, yeah, I fell down. I can't reach the strap. I'm just in Acapulco Bay,
wing it.
floating, waiting.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Don't do it. Don't
my
do it.
husband was not a good person driving on driving on the road. Like he was not a good driver, right? That's and we got on again. I do as I say, not as I do. That's we got on a random jet ski and went out into the ocean. We had maybe had a couple cocktails the night prior, and it was speeding up, and then he would cut the power, and we would dive down. I lasted maybe 5 minutes before I got sick and needed to get back to shore. So
I
just
would have died.
yeah, just other advice: drive your own jet ski.
Uh,
It's I think one of the ones that I absolutely love, if you're in this area, is to do the ferry or the catamaran to Isla Mujeres.
mhm.
First of all, Isla Mujeres is just off of the Cancun coast. It's an island over there. The island itself is stunning, and you can do like you rent a golf cart, go around the entire island. That's a fun excursion to do. But also, the catamaran getting there is an experience. That water is crystal blue water. You can see right down to the bottom of the ocean. It's so beautiful. You'll see, some wildlife in there and whatnot. But usually what they'll do is they'll take the catamaran, you'll go about halfway to Isla Mujeres. There's a little meetup where all the boats kind of jump in and everyone jumps in the water. Some of them have
Sandbar.
water slides. Yeah, you have the sandbar. That's and usually most of those will include like food and drink experiences as well. So that's if you're really looking for that stunning blue water and getting your people out there, if you're in the area, that catamaran out there is phenomenal. I know we kind of touched on it, Prissy kind of touched on it before, but private yachts. So if you
Mm.
really want an elevated experience for your group, especially for like instead of a rehearsal dinner, maybe you take the close friends and close family and go out on the yacht, right? And of course you can get any size yacht that you really want to, but just something that you can get out.
We can get you the pirate yacht too. Arr.
Yeah.
That was the most impressive pirate R that I've ever heard. That's
She practiced that one.
exactly.
I'll have a pirate outfit next week for you.
Yeah. That's that is just kind of a really nice way to do it, like a more higher end experience. Obviously, that's not one that you want to do with like 50, 60 people. That's going to be, a smaller group that you just kind of go out and escape a little bit. That's one of the kind of more beautiful ones, the ones that people don't think about so much, is the bioluminescence. That's so bioluminescence. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go on YouTube, find it somewhere. But it's so beautiful to see. It's at night, so this is a night excursion. And usually you don't even have to go into the water. Usually it's more of like a coastline experience. But you're out there, and the water, as the waves come in, you're going to see the bioluminescence light up, kind of on its way in.
It
It's,
almost doesn't feel real.
it doesn't. It's. I mean, Jody, you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't,
You're on
not,
Avatar.
yeah.
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 It makes me think of Alien. I
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
do that. Like my mind goes places like I'm not gonna
Well,
do
see,
that.
that's why there's something for everyone.
Right.
It might not be bioluminescence.
I'm
Me, it's
freaking
not a
out. I'll
bicycle.
lose it.
I think the bicycle wouldn't be for me. That's
Right.
I am
No,
not a
I crash
coordinated
mine at
person.
home.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I am not a coordinated person. It's you put me on a bike and I'm definitely leaving in a ambulance. So it's
And that segues us into talking about, if you're going to be active on your vacation, we always think you should have some kind of travel insurance, but if you know
Yes.
you're going to be active,
Mhm.
or if you happen to be like
Clumsy.
us, um,
Like me.
and bonk yourself in your own house,
Yep.
make sure you have that. Make sure
I
you have
moved
that
it.
coverage. Get covered.
You're gonna make my premium go up, Nikki. Like
Yeah.
Girl,
It, it,
I broke my foot standing in my shoe.
yeah. It really is, it's you don't think about these things.
Mhm.
As you're going out on these excursions, you're thinking blue water, you're thinking, zip lining through the jungle, you're thinking, all these things about what the experience is going to be,
Mhm.
but you're not thinking about if something does go wrong.
Right.
Mhm.
And so you're right, Nikki. That was kind of the perfect transition into if you're going to be out doing these things, travel insurance is highly, highly encouraged. And really, it's just to make sure that you are covered if you need to make a trip to the hospital, or even if you just need a little bit of medical attention, or something like that. That's travel insurance will cover you while you're overseas. I think what a lot of people don't realize is for the most part, your American health insurance is not going to cover you in Mexico, in DR, in Costa Rica, right? And if you do have to go to the hospital, if you do have to have, if something does happen, if you don't have cash and you don't have insurance, you're not getting treated.
Mhm.
It's we want to make sure that for the what if that you have a travel insurance policy in place and that you're covered just to make sure that you're able to get the attention that you need if you're out there and something happens.
From a reputable company as well, because a lot of these excursions, when you're signing away your life, they'll offer you a policy.
Yep.
I have never seen the terms of those policies. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is just a money grab. So
Mm,
make sure you have some insurance from a reputable company, preferably that you purchased before you left your house,
right.
so you know exactly who to call and what you get.
Yep, absolutely. And Prissy, that kind of transitions us into the next point is, that's we do have vendor partners that we use out in some of these destinations, right? We have a couple partners in Mexico. We have a couple partners in DR. They do a phenomenal job of putting these things together, and we've had groups travel with them multiple times. So we know exactly how the experience is going to look, exactly how it's going to, how it's going to be. We've been on these excursions ourselves
Hmm.
a lot. But
We know if the weather is not going to be good, they are going to cancel your catamaran and refund you.
yeah,
Hmm.
Rather than take you out in the bouncy bounce and
Risking it all.
yeah,
yeah, no,
absolutely. Absolutely.
that.
It's so, we have a couple of those partners, and we also, for your guests, if you're, booking your wedding and you have your wedding website, with our wedding website, we always include a link to those partners, right? We
Hmm.
use a company called Project Expedition that, they have all these tours from different vendors, but different vendors that have been vetted.
Hmm.
And so we are comfortable recommending Project Expedition because we're able to go in there and you can find any experience that you want, swimming with the dolphins, whatever you want. It's all in there. And we know that you're going to be taken care of while you're on your way, right? Um, I, of course, you can find so many different experiences out there, but when you're looking online and you're running through Google and you don't know who these companies are, it just is a little unnerving
Hmm.
on, where you're going, what you're doing, when you're going to be back.
Especially these days, like we're in South Florida, we have excursions here for visitors.
Hmm.
Now, I wouldn't I wouldn't get on just any of them, even though we're in the United States. A lot of
Hmm.
those are not licensed. A lot
Right.
of those do not have insurance.
Yep.
They are shaking you down here just like they will anywhere else. So
Hmm. Yep.
when I take my visitors on excursions in my town,
Mhm.
I go to my regular people that
Yep.
I know provide the service and the experience that we want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's yeah.
You know.
South Florida's almost worse.
Mhm.
All right. So now let's talk about some of the different ways that we can book excursions, right? Like there's a couple different approaches that you can do to this. First of all, if you wanted, to book ahead, do a little bit of research, we have a couple options for that. Like I said, on our wedding website, we have that link to Project Expedition. You can go in there, find an excursion that works for you or works for your group, and go ahead and get that booked ahead of time. The advantages to that is it gives your guests kind of an option on if you want to join. Hey, we're going to be out doing this. If you guys want to join, go ahead and purchase your tickets and come with us, right? You can also go ahead and book directly at the resort. So I think the nice thing about excursions is they're always available kind of no matter where you go, as long as you're going through a reputable company. The resorts also use companies that they trust, that they know are gonna, get you there safely. And those people are usually like right in the hotel lobby, right off the hotel lobby. You can go in and say, hey, I want to go on a catamaran
If
today.
they're on the property, you can trust them.
Yeah,
If they're on the beach, beware.
not so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Exactly. I think that's a nice way to just kind of, find a little extra to do. You don't necessarily feel like you need to book it ahead of time. It just gives you a little extra planning, a little bit, letting people know that, hey, we're going to be off property this day. This is what we're going to be doing. You feel welcome to join. Yep. Okay, let's talk about customizations on excursions because there's a lot of different ways to customize them. I guess especially when we're talking about like the catamarans, the boat tours, things like
Hmm.
that, right? What are going to be some of the things that affect the price, Nikki? It's like if we're looking at a catamaran tour, what are some of the things that we need to consider?
Well, the catamaran packages tours offer packages. So you can take your guests out there, or everyone can book in.
Mhm.
You could get just chips and salsa and drinks. That's it. Or you can go all the way up to steak and lobster, brochettes with all of the service.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We work with vendors that can really personalize how much you want to spend, how much your guests want to spend, how long you want to be out there. If you want the
Hmm.
different times of the day, I prefer sunset. Don't make me get up early.
Mhm.
Get on a boat after I was drinking. Um,
Mhm.
these are the different kinds of things. The transportation coming to the hotel and picking you up, so everyone doesn't have to figure out how to get a cab to the marina.
Mhm.
Um, what size boat? Or if you need two vessels, maybe it has a slide, maybe it has a hype crew.
Hmm.
There's so many different things that are going to be on there or not.
Yep.
If you want a calm, peaceful, relaxing, just detox tour,
Yep.
we can do that.
Mhm.
If you want it to be a rager, we can do that.
I will tell you that on that note, that if you are booking the Sunset Catamaran cruise, do not book any events after the Sunset Catamaran cruise.
No,
Oh,
it
no.
is
Like
the event.
your guests are spilling off of that boat.
Yeah.
And Nikki, you had mentioned like kind of food and beverage and whatnot on there, and I think that's a really good point to make and an argument for booking ahead of time and making sure that you're booking the packages. Because I'm going to use a, again, South Florida local example. Let's talk about, the difference between traveling domestic and overseas. I did a boat tour in Miami. There were packages available. I didn't do it. I bought, drink by drink on the boat, and the credit card was stolen. Like,
Ah.
that's so when you're booking ahead and you have these pre-planned packages, other than like some singles for tips,
And the
guests,
dock fee. You
and
usually pay the dock fee.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
coming on mine next time. You're
Mhm.
coming on mine with me. I'll take care of you.
Mhm.
But we will spill off into our Uber, into the Uber.
Listen, I think that's part of a catamaran experience. If you can walk off the boat, you didn't do it
You didn't do it right.
right.
But you can upgrade the booze on your catamaran
Yes, you can.
experience. A lot of the bars, it's the domestic bar. So the Ron Rico rum or whatnot. So you can upgrade it to the more premium brands that we're familiar with.
Hmm.
I've seen some boats offer hookah or offer a photographer or
Yeah.
cigars.
Hmm.
So dancers, they even
Yeah.
offer like
Yep.
it's like those
Hmm.
type of dancers.
Hmm.
So you can pretty much do whatever makes your heart smile.
The
I have.
photographer on the Sunset Cruise is a nice little touch because people can
Mhm.
get that, like, oh, here's me in the sunset.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 It is. They really can customize it kind of however you want to, and I think those are some of the more popular excursions for a reason. Like
Mhm.
it gives everyone a way to get off property. Excuse me. It's not necessarily a more authentic experience because the catamaran's more you're kind of isolated, right?
The
But
But
catamaran's
who
really
doesn't want
kind
to
of,
be on the water? Like you're
yeah,
in the Caribbean, you're in Mexico. Who
a
doesn't
lot
want to
of
be in
people
the
are
water?
coming from up north, the Midwest. They are not on the water.
Mhm.
And the catamarans are very stable. So these are things that most of your group is going to be able to do.
Mhm.
They, twin hull, usually wide, not too whatever. Auntie can get on.
mm,
Uncle's not going to complain.
mm.
And, whether or not some might want kids on there, some might say no kids, but we find that out too. But usually it's something that just fits everyone or most people.
And that's a really good point, Nikki, when you're talking about accessibility. There are some of these cruises, and it's something that we need to talk about, with our clients as we,
Mhm.
are having these conversations do you have grandma and grandpa coming on the
Mhm.
excursion with you? There's, a property down in DR that has their own little catamaran tour and it's wonderful, but you are literally walking from the beach into the water and then up some steep stairs to get into the boat,
Mhm.
right? When we're talking like the catamaran in Isla Mujeres, you have a dock that steps into the boat that goes from there. And even that sometimes, if the water's a little choppy, it's
Mhm.
hard. Like I
Mhm.
have I have taken a running jump to get on a boat before. Like
Mhm.
it's
I've done that and missed the boat.
Ah,
did you really?
clumsy.
Well, it wasn't my fault. It's actually I was
Wasn't my
stepping on, and the
fault.
other guy ran and jumped, and I fell into the intercoastal.
Mhm.
It's right over here. We could reenact it.
Nice, nice.
I think that's a good point, though, Mario, about roping us in on your excursion choices because certain excursions have mobility requirements, weight requirements,
Right.
all of these things that we deal with day in and day out.
Yeah.
So I had clients in a destination attempting to do a camel ride. They pulled out a scale. So, like,
Oh boy.
you want to know those things before you're in line with 60 of your closest family and friends. Like, we might not want to do that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's good to rope us in on these decisions just so you can save yourself some headaches and embarrassment a little bit later.
We can check ahead of time.
Yep.
Exactly.
And we've done a lot of them, so we know.
Yeah.
And we know what to ask the vendors
Yep.
just to make sure you're covered.
And that kind of takes us back to the, we go so you know.
Mhm.
I know, that's everyone will look at our Instagram and be like, oh, that's
So cheesy.
yeah, Prissy's out on a catamaran today. That's, that's he's working. That's, Mario's out four-wheeling today. He's working, but it actually
Mhm.
is. We are going on those things, yes, of course, to have fun because we're going to have fun while we're in destination, but also it's to see what the experience is like. It's to make sure that we know what is going to be happening while your guests are out. It's to make sure that, that's like you said, Prissy, that's if, I have some family members that if they walked up to a camel ride and someone pulled out a scale, someone's getting hit. Like
Right.
it's those things that, it's the reason that you have us. It's the reason that you hired us. It's the reason that you are not going with someone who, maybe doesn't have as much experience in destination. It's you want someone that really has an understanding of this entire process to make it as seamless as possible. Of course, there's things that pop up. Of course, there's a million different things that can happen, but it's if we can help guide that along the way,
Mhm.
it's one less stressor that you have while you're trying to organize all these events.
Do I need water shoes for this? Like,
Yes.
yeah, stuff like
Yes,
that.
you always need water shoes because
Do
most
all
boats
that.
don't want your shoes on there.
Right.
And if you're weird and don't like your feet being on surfaces, take your water shoes.
I don't like to step on things
Mhm.
underneath. So
No.
what's under there? I don't want to know.
I
Mhm.
still will never understand. Maybe it's a slippery thing. I'm not sure, but like there, any of those boats that I've been on, it's you cannot wear shoes on it.
Mhm.
Even sandals, if you have sandals, that you cannot
Mhm.
wear them. Which is fine, but yeah, then you want to make sure you have your water shoes because you just don't know.
Mhm.
These companies, like I said, all reputable companies. I'm sure they clean the floors very nice, but you don't know whose feet.
But your Tory Burch flip-flops are not going to work.
No.
They're not.
They're cute for the
They're
resort.
So I guess as the last part of kind of excursions and what to do and how we do it, let's talk about that planning process a little bit. So there are kind of two different ways to approach group excursions. So this isn't necessarily talking about like your guests just going to find, whatever excursion that they want to do. This is more so like we are trying to plan an organized event. We are trying to get everyone together and do this. Now, it's the first way that you can approach it is kind of as a thank you to your guests that you have, flown 1,100 miles, you are here for 3 nights, you're staying at this gorgeous resort to celebrate us. As a thank you, we are taking you on this excursion. We are doing this, sunset catamaran tour the day afterwards, and we are going to pay for it for you, right? That way, it makes it easy. There's only one credit card. There's not a lot of like, we're not figuring things out. It's just confirming the number of guests that are going to be there, right? And we're figuring out what packages that you're going to go with that makes sense for your group. There's also a kind of more of like a group pay experience where we're putting you in contact with the tour, with the excursion company, with the tour operator, and they're out there giving you a link, and so you can approach your guests ahead of time. This is something that you want to do with a little bit of kind of time in between to give your guests a chance to decide if they want to do it. But if we do it that way, they can jump in. It doesn't feel as mandatory. It doesn't feel like a mandatory wedding experience that, oh, now we have to go do this. I'd rather be laying on the beach. I'd rather be, laying by the pool. This is kind of an opt-in. Hey, yes, I want to be there. They go in, they pay, they confirm, and then you get a final guest count, and the tour operator is going to confirm the boat from there on which boat they end up putting you on and whatnot. But there are kind of two different ways to approach that. Nikki, would you agree? I think kind of the group pay experience is a little bit more common. That's
It is. It's fine though. Like we typically do that like maybe after final payment. And that way people that are staying longer, people that are leaving, they know, okay, so we're gonna go. Here's what we're doing. Anybody want to be naughty with us? NAUTI.
very nice. Very nice.
We can send it out as a group email with the payment link and people will book, as they want to and as they decide. They will require closer to only maybe a few days before the boat's going out, the final head count. That way they can have the food and have the drinks and have it all stocked properly. If it's going to be privatized, you might need a minimum number,
Mhm.
but a lot of the vendors we work with have multiple size boats.
Right.
So, okay, we only have 45. You're getting this one.
Hmm.
We have 75. It's this one now.
Hmm.
So it works. It works both ways. If the couple or somebody in the wedding group, it could be anybody. Maybe somebody wants to treat everyone to it. If they are hosting the excursion, they get to pick the package, they get to pick the time, they get to pick it all.
Yep.
So if people are paying in, they can do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I guess I just kind of want to wrap this up with what is your number one favorite experience, like favorite excursion? I'm going around my screen here like this. So Jody, what is your like number one favorite excursion that you like to do or have done?
Well, in true Jody fashion, something that we haven't talked about, um, the cenotes. I
Oh, we didn't mention those. You're right.
really, really have loved visiting different cenotes. It's just a cool experience.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the cenotes. That's I was just down in the Yucatan, and they were telling us kind of about the history of the cenotes, and that some of them are man-made, most of them are natural,
Mhm.
and just kind of what the history is behind them, and like what the Mayans believed them to be. And I think that
Right.
added a whole nother layer of just
The mystique.
the mystique. Yeah, yeah, because it does kind of feel like a little bit of a mystique, and there's different levels of difficulty with
Yeah,
the
some of them
Yeah.
you just kind of browse and make your way in. Some of them you have to climb down a ladder to get in.
Yeah.
I've never done the ones where you have to go down on a rope
Yeah.
because I don't know how you're getting out of there. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, and there are some that like you do need to be a little bit more of an experienced swimmer because
You're wading through.
yeah, like some of them like you have to go
you have to
under
go under. Yeah, hold your breath and
to get into the caves that are in there. Um,
with the bats.
Not for me,
I'm
not
not
for
doing
me, but and the bats. So it's Will went on one of those cenotes where you had to go down and in. And
What would
they
you
have
tell?
they have a photo of him, and it's the funniest photo I've ever seen because it's him. He was literally like swimming in the cenote. He's in the cave. He's having a blast, and they caught him right as he looked up and saw the ceiling of bats. And it's just pure terror on his face.
Yee! Get
But
me
these are
out of here.
yeah, these are things that you need to know about before you go so that you don't, give uncle a heart
Freak
attack.
out.
That's yeah.
Right. Or the little shiny fish that are in, I'm
Nope.
confident they're in all cenotes and they just nibble at your feet. And if you have an
Yeah.
anklet on or a toe
Yeah.
ring, they're coming
Well,
after you.
you can't wear shiny in the water.
No, no
Oh.
shiny in the water. That's
Yeah.
Prissy, what do you think to date? What is your favorite excursion that you've done so far?
I'm a food tour girly, so there's a food tour in Puerto Vallarta, best food tour ever.
Oh.
Cocktails were involved, agua fresca was involved, like deliciousness all around. So I do all the other stuff for you guys, for the clients. I don't never need to do all the other stuff. I don't need an ATV. I don't need to get on another catamaran. I hate the clear kayak photo shoots, like all of the things I do for you. But if it's for me, I'm going to eat, I'm going to drink.
Listen, you tell me if there is physical activity involved, I'm out. Like,
Get somebody else to do
don't put me on a
it.
bike, don't put me in a kayak. I don't want to break a sweat.
Mm.
It's no.
I
It's
don't want to die. I don't want to die. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to die. Like, leave me alone. No.
I do love a good food tour. I think it's a perfect way to experience it. And I know we mentioned it last episode on different regions of places to go and things to experience, but Puerto Vallarta really is one of those ones that
Hmm.
like if you're gonna go out into the city and you're gonna go experience some things, Puerto Vallarta is one that is just offers so many different things that you can do.
Their culinary, their cocktail scene is unmatched. It's just chef's kiss.
Yep, absolutely. Nikki, what about you? What's your favorite excursion?
You're not getting me out of my lounge chair unless It's a vessel of size. I'll take a catamaran, I'll take a luxury yacht, but no, it's got to be big.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah,
Okay,
don't
you
I've
have a
been
mega
on too
yacht.
many small ones that are. This is sounding bad.
Ah.
yeah, no, that's I agree. I do like the bigger boats. Like if I'm going to be out in the water, I want to be on a bigger boat. I want to be kind
Mhm.
of experiencing.
I love it when my resort is so amazing that I don't want an excursion. I
Yeah,
mean, I
right.
think that's a, bonus in itself. But
Mhm.
my husband is one that he cannot sit still.
Yeah.
So he would be, okay, I'm gonna go fishing. Okay, I'm gonna go snorkeling. I'm gonna go scuba diving. This is great because there's something for everyone.
Yep.
Like we all don't have to like the same things. We all don't have to do the same things.
Mhm.
But the opportunities are there to make everyone happy.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. And that really brings up a good point, Nikki. That's excursions are not mandatory. You are not required as the wedding couple to put together an excursion for your group. You
Mhm.
have, very carefully curated with us, of
Mhm.
course, whichever resort that you want to be at, right? And there's going to be so much to do that are on property. Most of these properties have little, classes, little things that you can do right there without ever leaving anywhere. I know we just spent an entire episode talking about excursions and getting off and do that, but it is a very valid point. They're not mandatory. It's not something you have to do. I would say for me, I'm kind of split. So my first one is that catamaran to East Harris is by far that's one of my favorite things to do. That's just first of all for the color of the water. Secondly, like it's one of the I've done it a couple times. So one of the times that I was there, it was actually a little more rough in the water, not bad, but just a little wavy. And it's to be on the front of that catamaran and you're hanging onto the rope and you're yeah it's splashing up with water, and you're trying to keep your champagne balanced, and that's listen. That I had so like we were crying, laughing. We were having so much fun on that. It's so that one's a fun one. Also, some of the more historical ones for me are a lot of fun. It's I was I as part of my transfer when I was in Mexico last week, and I went from Maroma, which is like Riviera Maya area, and I went over to the Yucatan, which is on the other side of the little boot there. That's right in between is a city called Izamal. And Izamal is known as the Yellow City. And so that's we got there, we got on four-wheelers. We had a little tour guide that took us along, and so we all had our own little four-wheeler, and we're stopping at the different Mayan temples and taking a look at some of the pyramids and what the story was. And I found it so interesting. Like you get to Ismail, and I'm probably getting in trouble for saying this. But my tour guide, I'm gonna blame it on my tour guide. My tour guide was very passionate about this. That's it's you get to the Yellow City and you think, wow, this is, all the buildings are painted yellow. It's so beautiful, really very historic looking. It's not modern at all. And it kind of gives you this happy feeling. And then the tour guide goes into why they're all painted yellow. And it was because the Spaniards came over, they took over kind of where the Mayans were, made them pull like bricks from their pyramids, bricks from their temples to build the houses for the Spaniards, and then force them to paint them all yellow because that was one of the colors that's on the Vatican flag. That's on the Vatican flag. So
You didn't need the story.
I didn't
Yeah.
need the story. I was happier not knowing the story.
Right.
You get there and it's so like it's kind of more a muted yellow. It's not like
But people do look like Chichen Itza and all
Mhm.
of those ruins are very, very popular. So
the history is a blast. I was in Mexico City and I climbed to the top of the Moon Pyramid there. Like so cool to be able to do. And something that is, for us, we go to Mexico a lot, but it's a lot of like just maybe a once in a lifetime you get to
Mhm.
sit inside that pyramid. I will also tell you if you go to Mexico City and you climb that pyramid, you better be in shape because you're climbing. Another fun fact that I found out on this excursion this time is the reason those pyramids are so steep is because you're meant to be bowing as you climb.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it's it is steep because you're supposed to be bowing and kind of praying as you go.
And
But
praying that you make it up there.
listen,
I'm glad I did those so long ago.
I went with a whole group of people when I went to Mexico City, and Ashley, one of our colleagues, She gets to the top and it's the last step and she slips.
Oh,
And
shit.
she kind of
Oh,
like falls forward to try and stop herself. But it's those, you have to be in shape to do those things because
yeah.
it is not, and not that Ashley's not in shape, but not coordinated because like it's falling forward, right? Like she really, and all of us, you hear the entire group go like
So
you're
I
up
think
there, like
I think that brings up a point. Like the more active and intense, you kind of need to be in shape. You need to start conditioning your body if you're planning some of these, and this is outside of weddings, but if you're planning some of these bucket list active
Mhm.
excursions, don't do it to yourself because
yeah.
you will come home broken.
And
Speaking
and
from
and if
experience.
if you
So,
are going to do something that strenuous,
mhm.
manage your night before.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Hmm.
Manage your
Yep.
night before.
Hmm.
Party down hard after you made it on the pyramid.
Hydrate. Make sure you're
Yeah.
not dehydrated.
Hydrate. Get some protein.
Mhm.
some of
So
these
yeah.
some of these excursions are not cheap, right? Like that some of them can really get up
Yeah.
there in price. And
Hmm.
for you to be out partying all night the night before and then just be absolutely miserable, dehydrated, while you're trying to, hike up a pyramid, like
And know yourself. It's okay to sit out. I'll see you when you get back.
yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
I'm
All
not
I'm
those
gonna.
gonna watch.
versus,
I don't
I'm
want
gonna
to
watch the
die. So
pool.
I'll see you when you get back.
I,
Like,
I got it. The quality of the pool needs to be checked every hour.
huh?
right.
Yes.
It's a
A
job.
volunteer's tribute.
Yes.
Like the bartender needs somebody to talk to him.
That makes
That's
Oh,
me.
sense.
Like,
It's
they need me here.
right. He needs supervision.
ladies, is there anything that I'm forgetting? Anything you wanted to address on excursions before we jump off today?
Nope.
No. No.
Put some
Perfect.
thought into it. Make sure you know your group.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that's 8 hours. Nobody wants that much
No.
time with you.
No.
Keep it
Yeah,
short.
if it says 8 hours, it might be
Right.
10.
Yeah.
Right. Don't do it. No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's perfect. You guys, thank you so much for the conversation today. I really like talking about excursions. I think it's one of the more fun things that we can do for our
Mhm.
couples out there that are looking to possibly consider an excursion. Use us as a resource. We are here. We have, done most of these, and if we haven't, we have people who have.
Mhm.
And it's a nice little add-on that you can do with your group just to kind of keep the entertainment flowing as you go.
Mhm.
I want to thank you all for listening in. Thank you all for joining us, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to learn more or ready to schedule your complimentary consultation? Follow us on Instagram at Destination Weddings Expert or visit our website at destinationweddingsexpert.com.